face mask so we can see it.
Okay. This is a little video trying to document the history of my grandmother's life from birth on. This is September 6, 1993. So, you, what year were you born? You were born in,
Well, my passport up under 1905.
you were born in 1905. And where were you born? What city?
Russia.
Where, what was the name of the city?
Melnitzer.
Melnitzer?
Yeah.
And you were, how many other children were there in your family?
You have 7 children.
7. You were the youngest.
No.
You weren't.
The youngest are Frida. I'm next to the youngest.
You're next to the youngest. So there was Frida.
And there were 4 girls and 3 boys. It was birthday, and then, sons was Arel Shaya, Harry, and Israel, and that was birthday, and Rochel was, after Rochel was after me was Frida, and Alec was the baby.
Alec
was 7
the baby.
children.
7. And your mother, what was her name?
Bunye.
Bunya?
Yeah.
Bunya?
Yeah.
Bunya what? Fishbone? No, what was her last name?
Well, in Europe, you used to call Palashuk.
Palashuk.
And then when they came here, the name of it changed to Fishbone.
Right, okay.
So we all went to
So
Fishbone.
Bunya, Palashuk, and what was your father's name?
Avraham Moshe.
Moshe?
Avraham Moshe.
Avraham Moshe, okay. So, your parents, when did they get married? What year did they get married?
Well, my father and mother?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
You don't remember. Okay, so what else do you know about them? What did your father do in Europe?
In Europe, he had a butcher store.
He was a butcher. Okay.
He used to buy, he used to go on the Yared, the Yared means, they buy everything freely. So he used to buy cattle, he used to slaughter. Yeah, butcher store.
Okay.
And when he came to America, he was in business again. Groceries.
He had a grocery in America. So, do you know what your parents lived in? You lived in a house, right? What kind of a place did you live in? Was it a large house, small house?
We had 2 houses.
2 houses.
And one was we used to live, and one we used to rent.
One you lived in, one you rented out to people.
Yeah.
Okay. And you lived in a. Melnitzer was a small city.
A small city.
You know how many people lived? Would you say?
A lot of Jews.
It was mostly Jewish. Yeah.
And the Goyim lived in separate neighborhoods.
Okay. Right. So you were separate from. Okay. And Melnitzer, you say is.
It was at the Roshit.
It was
until the French War started.
right. About where was it? Where was it in relation to Kiev? You say it's near. It was close to Kiev.
Kiev was the capital of the Ukraine.
Right.
Varsovia was called the Ukraine. The Ukraine neighborhood.
Right.
And Kiev was the capital.
Right. So Melnitzer was a day. You said it was a day's ride on a train.
A day's ride.
And okay, so day's ride. That's pretty far. It's got to be about. I mean, like a whole day. Like how many hours?
I never wrote the
You never went there. But your father used to go there, right?
No.
No, nobody. Nobody went there.
Just in the neighborhood around the
Okay.
cities.
I see. Around the
Yeah, Kovre, Menlitz, Rajesh, different cities.
So, Lutz, did you say?
Yeah.
Lutz. What were the other ones?
My city was Menlitz.
Right,
And there's Lutz,
right.
and there's a lot of cities around. Kovne,
Rovne?
yeah.
Okay.
Rajesh,
Rajist?
yeah, a lot of little cities around.
Okay.
Rovne was a big city, yes.
And
Kovre,
what?
Kovle,
Kovle?
Kovle, Kovle.
Kovle.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was all the Ukraine.
It was in the Ukraine.
Yeah.
What was the area like? Was it flat? Was it
Flat.
It was flat? And was it green? Did it?
Well, the weather was like here. We had summer, we had winter, we
Okay.
had fall and spring.
Right. And you lived in a house and you had what, horses and carriage? Did you have a horse and carriage? Or did you have cars? Back then.
The house we used to use coal, not coal, wood.
Wood
Yeah.
to heat it. Because it got cold in the winter. Okay. And what did you
It was very plain, very plain.
very plain.
Yeah.
The house was it a two-story house?
Two-story house. We had a big room, 4 bedroom and a kitchen in a hall. The other room was the same thing. We used to rent. Nobody used to rent.
Right, used to rent. Okay. So so you lived there with your family. Now your father went to America in 1911, you said?
Either 1910 or 1911.
1910 or 11. And
He never became a citizen.
he never became a citizen. What? So he got here by boat. How did he get here? What kind of arrangements was it?
He never had a train. He had to ride 10 miles of train. But he has to, people with not buses, but
Like
we used to we used to cut up, I forgot all the but
train,
house,
horse, and
house, so they used to take passengers with the train.
I see.
Yours 10 miles of the train.
10 miles. But so he got on a boat? How did he, huh?
He didn't have no boats.
Can you talk louder?
Uh,
Can you talk louder a little bit?
yes.
Okay. How did your father arrange to come?
America?
Yeah. How did he manage to do that?
Our friend and our cousin of his came
The cousin came first.
he came from America back to Europe to take his wife home.
Oh.
So he went.
So-
You buy a passport.
Yeah.
You go.
So he had a passport to go. So his cousin went. When did he go?
He came back to Europe to bring
Right,
his
but
wife was in Europe.
right,
Came
his
back
wife
to
was in
bring-
Europe, in Melnitzer.
Yeah, Melnitzer. He came back for his wife and children. So my father went too.
So he was lucky to
Yeah.
become part of that. 'Cause, I mean, it's his cousin, not his immediate family.
We had a brother here already. Not
Your
cousin.
father had a
My
brother.
father had a
Oh, I had a
brother,
brother too.
And
Okay.
I had a cousin here too.
Right.
America.
What was your father's name again?
Avomotion.
All right, okay. We got that already.
Avomotion.
Right. And what was his brother's name?
My mother's name?
No, what was your father's brother's name?
How old is he?
Izzy.
Yeah.
That was Izzy.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
He's old.
Israel?
Yeah.
Israel. Israel was your brother.
My father's brother.
That's-
My father's brother was here in America. He was supposed to go to the army, and he kept the army and went to America.
I see. So he didn't want to go into the army, so he came to America. That was your father's brother.
My father's brother, yeah.
So he came first. Okay.
He was there.
Now, so when your father came here, where did he come first? New York City?
New York.
New York City.
Yeah.
And that's where your family
And he
was.
stayed a little bit in New York, and from New York he went. My mother had relatives in Gloucester, Massachusetts.
What? Oh,
So my
Gloucester.
father went to Gloucester, and he opened a store there.
So he opened a store, a grocery
And then he
store.
was helped up for my brother. He needed the help.
Right.
So,
So
my brother went to America in 1940, just about before the war started.
in 1914, your brother came, and who was that? Izzy.
That's Izzy.
That was Izzy.
Yeah, my other brother was, he was a stupid, he didn't talk.
I see. Okay. So how old was Izzy when he came?
When he was 18.
18. Okay. So they worked they had a store in Gloucester, and they were trying to get everybody else here too, right?
That's right.
Little by little. And so what were they doing here? What do you remember? What did they write you at all? What do you remember?
Until the war broke out, they got to us to send money around.
Mm-hmm.
But after the war started, it closed up. We didn't need no more.
So the war started in 1914.
Then in 20, we had the first letter.
Oh, so letters stopped.
Yeah.
And then 1920, 6 years later.
That's right. After the war started.
Okay, I didn't think the war lasted that long.
1918, 1919.
1919, right.
1919, my mother died. Then we had the first letter.
Your mother died in 1919. So
one brother was already in America.
So, right, one brother was in America, and so from 1919 to 1922, when you came, you were basically
because my father was a citizen, and you see, a citizen could get a visa right away to America.
Your father was not.
My father was not, and my brother was not a citizen.
Right.
So we had to wait for a number. They gave us a number, and the number came to 1922, 1919, 1920.
Now, so was this under the impression that you would stay permanently? They gave you a number so you could stay permanently, or just temporarily?
Yeah, temporarily.
Just temporarily. Okay, so you came.
But in 1922, they sent us a visa. We went to Washington. In Washington, the American American Council.
The American Council where? In Warsaw.
For American visas.
In Warsaw.
Russia.
Oh no, in Russia.
Well, it was in Russia then already. It was
Okay,
Austria.
hold on.
So we got a visa and we came to America in 1922. Columbus Day.
Right.
It's in 1920.
Shut it.
In 1922, 1929, I evacuated myself.
Okay.
And they opened up a store there.
Okay. I want to know more about your life in Europe between the time your father left and you came here.
Well,
during the war.
My life for you, I was a young girl, very young child. And we used to, before the war, we used to get money from America. But then when the war started, everything closed up.
Right.
So my sister Rose,
Your sister Rose.
yeah, we used to go with to the cities, to the villages,
to
the
the village.
farmers, and buying stuff and make a living this way.
No,
My mother was a very strong woman. She was
weak.
not a healthy person.
She was not healthy. So
So-
you used to pedal?
Yeah, we used
Okay.
to peddle like, yeah.
What did you sell? Like vegetables?
No, we used to buy from the countries chickens or
Chickens.
eggs or
Chickens and
anything
eggs.
and bring it to the city and sell it.
Okay. So, and that was in the immediate village.
Yeah.
So, and you went to school? Did you go to school?
I went to Yiddish school, but my father had a brother-in-law. My mother's sister married a teacher. So they had a school. So I went to school. And just before the war broke out, the Russians, we had a big Russian school. The Russian was an old priest. So just before the war started, he made a rule, an order that all Jews who want to go to the Russian school, they can go. So I registered to go in the Russian school.
Okay.
6 months I went to the Russian school. Then he died. The young one took over, and he was against the Jews, so we all went out
So, okay, so you went to the Russian school
for 6 months.
for 6 months, and you learned.
Then I went to the Yiddish school.
Then you went to, after the priest died,
Yeah.
you had to go to the Yiddish
Yiddish
school.
yeah.
So,
I learned Russian, also in the Yiddish school, and Yiddish,
Russian, Yiddish.
and Polish, and
Polish.
I learned all the languages.
You learned all the languages. So,
I was a very good pupil.
so you're saying, so your mother's sister was a teacher. That's how you got into the Russian
Yes,
school.
yeah.
Do you remember your mother's sister's name?
My mother's a Chaya.
Your mother's sister's name?
Yeah.
Chaya?
Chaya.
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 Chaya, okay. Another one of those Yiddish names. Okay.
And her husband was they say do it. They say do it.
What?
Do it. She do it.
Yeshia Dubit. Who was that?
Her brother.
Her brother.
Her husband there was a teacher.
I see.
Yeah, that's
I see.
at Asia school.
Oh, so her husband was the teacher. Okay. So you went to the Russian school for 6 months, and how far was it from where you lived?
Almost the same street.
It was on the same street. So, okay, so that meant that the neighborhood you lived in must have been partly mixed.
It was the Russian school, and the priest lived the second street,
I see.
and I helped on the street. We used to call a galler, a teacher. The Russian used to live in the next street.
Okay, so that was before the war, right? What else?
And the church, the Russian church, was the next street.
I see. So when the war broke out, how did you live? Was it difficult? What did you do?
We used to peddle. My
And-
sister and I, we were youngsters.
Yeah.
We used to walk for miles and miles and miles.
Right.
That's what about the
Every
Germans.
In every different village.
I see.
Sometimes we had to stay overnight. We used to sleep in a bar.
You used to sleep in a
Oh,
barn
yeah,
because
yeah.
you had to stay overnight.
Yeah.
Now you
We had a hard life. We had a hard life.
you had all these brothers, right? What were they doing? What were all your other brothers and sisters doing?
Well, my older brother, there was a Schumer, you know. He worked in an iron factory. No,
In a
not
factory.
an iron, but like he was a worker. He used to work there.
You worked in a factory. Yeah. And what about your other?
Well, get what about to Europe? So
Right. Well, he came.
long
Right.
before he went
Right.
to America.
I see. then you had.
My younger brother Alex was a baby.
He was too young to work. Right. And how many hours you worked all day long, from sunrise to sunset, or what?
Every day.
Every day.
Different. Every day is a different city, a different village.
So you had no days off. Not then. There was nobody.
We used to come home at night. If it wasn't too far to walk, we used to come at night. That we used to stay overnight. He had a hard life.
Did you have any?
Very hard life.
Did you have any doctors taking?
Never had a doctor.
Never had a doctor. And
I was never sick.
You were never sick. That's good.
Sick. I was strong as a horse. A strong child.
But your mom was ill.
My mother was.
What did she have? Did she have
She
something?
used to cough. She had to look on the eye like I asthma something.
Asthma. She had asthma. So you celebrated all the holidays, right?
Oh yes.
And you went to
Shabbos and all the holidays.
every Friday night. Did that. Now, what kind of food did you eat? What did you eat? What meals did you make? Did you make big meals?
We used to cook our own meals. If it was able, like potatoes.
Potatoes.
And gardens. We used to have a garden every year.
You had a garden. So I didn't know you had
carrots.
Carrots.
String beans. No spinach. We never had spinach.
And
potatoes.
do you have any memories of any strong memories that you want to talk about? Like anything that happened to you, or to your brothers or sisters, or anything come to mind?
We took care of ourselves and we behaved.
Now, so
We
during
used to have a cold or something like that.
what?
A cold. Once in a while, a little cold.
Okay, once in a while I had a cold. So, okay, during the time before the war, it was it was under Russian control, right? Okay. What happened during the war? The war broke out. How did your life change?
Well, the war started in Mahomet, in the attack. Every young son went to the army.
All the young sons went to the army.
My son, my brothers, one was went to America. He saved his life.
He saved his life.
And the other one, the older one, it was tumor. He couldn't go to her. It was death. And Alec was a baby.
Alec was too young. Okay. So all the men left.
All the men.
But life went on.
Just the same.
Now.
He struggled.
But during that time, didn't the Austrians or the Germans take over that area?
We used to work for them. We used to go out and selling things.
So they did. So they took over that area. The Germans. The Germans did.
We used to make a living out of it.
So okay. So, did they treat you bad or good
No.
So they were very.
They were very human.
They were very human. Okay. But they were all soldiers, right? Soldiers everywhere, just occupying. Now, they must have left at one time, didn't they? Because didn't the Russians take the land back eventually by force?
You see, first of all, the Austrians occupied the Ukraine.
The Austrians.
But then they lost it. They almost lost it. So the Germans took it over, and they kept it. They kept it till the end.
To the end of the war. So then the land was given back as part of a treaty.
Yeah, that's right.
And what happened after that?
After that, Bolsheviks.
The Bolsheviks.
Then the Germans went back home. The Austrians went back. It's the Bolsheviks.
The Bolsheviks came. Now, What were they like? What was that?
Well, they were very friendly.
They were friendly?
Very friendly. But some of them were Jewish. A lot of Jewish people there among them.
Okay. I see.
It was a hard life.
It was a hard life, but nobody was trying to kill you, or that's good. So that was 1919. Okay.
After my mother died in 1919, everything started a life, a different life.
Your mother died in 1919. Okay. And
The Bolsheviks were there.
right. So,
The Germans left, the Russians left, Bolsheviks in the Ukraine.
and nothing really happened in between 1919 and the time you came in 22? Is there anything that you remember happening?
Well, it was a hard life.
It was hard. Why was it
Very
hard?
life.
Why?
Because we couldn't do business with the Bolsheviks.
They wouldn't let you. Oh, right. They wouldn't let you. They were communists. They wouldn't let you. What?
They were mean.
There was
The
no free market.
The Ukrainians, the Russian soldiers, the Goyish, they're very mean. Then Poland took over.
Poland took over?
Yeah, Poland took over. They fought with the Russians, they lost it, and Poland took over. And it became Poland. And then it started a war among the Poles. They used to go around and rob and everything.
Really?
They were very mean, the Poles.
They were mean.
It's Goyish, like to kill a Jew was like nothing. It's very ridiculous. And then we left in 1922.
You got the hell out of there.
We got out of there.
Ask her where she left from to dance.
We got out of trouble.
Describe the journey. Describe how you came. The trip.
We were on 13 days on a boat.
And where did you depart from? Gdansk?
We started at Danzig.
Dance is good dance.
We
Which
got
is
a boat to Danzig. And we left. We came to New York.
started at Danzig on this big steamliner, or what?
See, they wouldn't let my brother Harry come because they wouldn't give us the Americans. The American visitor. I can't believe he couldn't speak. He couldn't write.
Right, he was deaf, so he couldn't.
So they wouldn't let him come. So I went, Frida went, Alec went, and Rose couldn't go. She wouldn't leave Harry alone. So she left in Europe. But then she became a passport to come to America. Christmas time. And my brother Harry, they let him come in for a visa, but stay a little while and go back to Europe.
I see.
But my brother AJ was in America. He was over in Norwich. We had a big business in Norwich. And he fought. We had two lawyers. We had a lawyer in Washington, a lawyer in Norwich, and we fought it. And we let him stay.
I see. So you left from back in Europe here. You left in, where was Danzig? That's in Russia?
Yeah.
That's a northern port in Russia?
Poland.
It's in Poland.
And Poland, yeah.
Okay.
We went to Poland and got the Poland Council. We got a visa, with the American Council. And we came to America in 1922, December 12th. We were 13 days on the boat.
13
Not on
days.
the first, but second, third class.
Third class. So, what do you know about your grandparents? your or even your parents. What do you know about them?
My father, I hardly remember.
You hardly remember your father? What did they look like? You said your mother looked like you, right?
My mother looked like me. I was the image. When I came to this country, my uncle, my father's brother, said, "You come, meneer."
Which means what?
Yeah. She was a little bit taller.
You don't remember your grandparents at all?
Just my grandmother, my mother's mother, and my father's father.
Tell me about them. Their names, when they were born.
My mother's mother's name was Rivka.
Rivka?
Yeah. And my grandfather's mother name, I don't remember now. He died before I left.
He died before you were born?
My mother's mother was Sarah, that's right. And my father's mother was Rivka.
Your mother's mother was Sarah, and your father's father was Rivka. Okay. And where were they born? In the same town?
No, they must have come from Europe.
Where? This is important. Where in Europe did they come from?
Maybe from Melnitsa, I don't know. Or maybe from different place. They were born before I was born.
Right. When your first, so how often did you see your mother's mother and your father's mother?
My mother's mother died in our house. My father's mother, I don't remember.
So your mother's mother died from old age, or what?
Yes, old age, yeah.
How old did she live? Do you know?
Well, she was quite an old woman. She must be in the 70s.
70s. That means that, but see, you were born.
Well, my father's mother, I don't remember.
What did your...
My father's father, I remember.
You do? What did your father's father do? Tell me about him. Your father's father.
He used to go around to the big places, to the places, and sell meat with that.
He sold meat to people. So he was also a butcher.
Yeah.
So your grandfather and your father, so butcher was in the family.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Right.
So did your father, I guess your father kind of took over the business or something? Did your father take over your grandfather's business?
No.
No. Something different.
No, he did it on his own.
You don't remember?
So.
You don't know?
I don't remember because I was a small girl.
Yeah.
It's so long ago. I thought there was so many years in America.
Yeah. And what was your father's name? You don't remember his name?
Yeah, Yitzchak.
Yitzchak.
Yeah.
Yitzchak.
Yeah, Yitzchak.
Yitzchak.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my mother's father's name is Eddie.
Eddie. So now you're remembering more.
That's
okay.
right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what was your mother's maiden name? It wasn't Polishuk. It was something else. Rivka.
She married a Volk.
Wolk.
Yeah.
Herman Wolf?
No. Herman?
No,
Huh?
like Herman Wolf, the author.
Oh, I see. Wolk.
Volk, yeah.
And so that's Rivka and Sarah. Rivka and Rivka
So,
Wolk.
Rivka, my father's mother was Rivka, and my mother's mother was Sura.
Sura. So it's Sura Wolk.
Yeah.
Wolk. And you don't know where they came from.
No.
You can't remember anything about them.
Yeah.
What about?
As far as I know, they lived in Melnitsa.
As far as you know, they lived in Melnitzer.
Yeah.
And what did your grandfather do? You remember?
My mother's father?
Yeah.
Well, they lived in the country, and
They lived in the country?
yeah. farm.
They had a farm.
Yeah.
They actually, so they owned land.
Yeah. And they used to on in the summertime horses and trees.
Horses and trees.
Horses and apples and fruit. Yeah.
Fruit.
Yeah.
So, in the summer, so they used to.
Yeah. I don't remember them very good. Yeah.
How did they earn a living? How did they make money?
They had a farm.
In the summer, they had orchards, and the prince, they said Alpha the prince. I don't remember my.
Can't
so
remember.
long ago, yeah,
It was a long time ago.
like that.
Prince, I guess. Kind of like feudal system, maybe.
So she worked. Oh, they worked for a prince.
Yeah.
Oh. So they didn't own the land. They were like little. They were sort of.
Yeah.
They were. What do you call?
No,
What do you call that? Like.
They used to sell the milk. The prince, they all had an office and
Prince.
they had a lot of cattle.
Cattle.
And they used to take their milk and stuff.
So it was kind of like a feudal
Yes.
system. And
You see, it's so long ago. I was a little girl. I don't remember all of
well, just remember what you can.
it.
So we got their names, and do you know when they were born?
What?
Do you know when they were born? Your grandparents? They must have been born in the mid 1800s.
I don't know when they were born. They were born. I don't know when they were born.
So
They were old people when they died.
so they lived old. They lived to be old.
In the 70s, you know.
Keep your hand down. You can't see your face when you're doing this.
So okay.
I can't remember all that. It's so long ago, and I was only a child. Now, my mother's mother died in our house. She used to live with us.
Your mother died in your house.
Yeah. That I know. That
Your mother's mother died.
I don't remember this thing.
Okay. Is it on? I just turned it off. Is it rec? Okay. All right. Now, I want to know about your. I don't want. I'll ask about Louis a little later. But you came in 1922,
Yeah.
third class on a steamliner. Your whole you and
He went third class, yeah. On a regular
who was
boat.
with you? I forgot who went with you. Your whole family. A lot of your brothers and sisters went at the same time.
The only one who couldn't come is my
Right,
sister
okay, so-
Rose and the deaf.
Right.
Yeah.
Your deaf
Because they wouldn't let him run.
brother could not come yet, and Rose couldn't come yet because she was staying with.
But afterwards.
But afterwards, right? So you came, and you went immediately to. First place you went to was Gloucester.
To the other side. I didn't go to Boston. We didn't go to Boston. We got to Norwich.
You mean okay? So how did your father and brother move from Gloucester to Norwich? Why?
There he had a store, a butcher store for Jewish people.
In Gloucester,
And then my brother Izzy came there. He didn't like it.
you didn't
He
like
went
it.
to Norwich.
Why? Okay, so
First of all, he wanted to see his own brother. My father had his own brother there.
your father had
His own brother in Fitchville, near Norwich.
In Fitchville.
Yeah.
So your father's brother was in Fitchville,
That's right.
Connecticut. So he wanted to be with his brother.
He wanted to be with him, yeah.
Okay, so now, when did your father's brother move to Fitchville, and why?
Well, they came to New York.
Yeah.
And from New York, I guess they got married. And then,
Your father's brother got married
yeah,
and went to Fitchville.
He had a store in Fitchville.
What kind of a store was it? Like a grocery store?
Store, yeah.
So y'all had grocery stores. Okay, so, so he went to Fitchville, but your father went to Gloucester.
But they didn't stay long in Gloucester.
Right. So okay.
Yeah.
Now in Fitchville.
They didn't go to Fitchville,
Hawville? Hawville or Fitchville? You went to Fitchville or Hallville? Is that another town? Does that sound familiar? Hallville? No.
To Norwich, yeah.
The grocery store was in Hallville.
Don't
This
say
store from Norwich, he moved to Norwich.
Let her tell the story.
From Norwich, they moved to Hallville because there was a big mill, and they opened up a big store, a general store, and a gasoline station, and a greenery.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So they had like
Yeah.
something going there. So they were in Hallville.
Yeah.
Your father.
My father and his son and my brother.
Right. And then you came.
Yeah.
With all your sisters and brothers, and now, so then you went to the work in the store right away.
The next morning, I came in one day. The next morning, they took me in the store right away.
And how old were you?
I couldn't speak a word of English.
About how old were you?
But I spoke Polish.
You spoke Polish.
And we had a lot of Polish customers there.
Why was that? Just where like a Polish enclave, where like Polish people settled?
There was a big mill there, a wool mill, and they worked there.
They worked there.
Yeah.
In Connecticut.
So we had my father and my brother had a big general store, and a gasoline station, and a greenery.
Right. Now, again, why did your father's brother move to Norwich, of all places? Why did he decide to move there?
I don't know why. He too had a grocery store there. He had a grocery store.
He had a grocery store.
And then my cousin Yente got a grocery store too.
Oh, so your cousin who came first
Yeah.
had a grocery store there.
My cousin and my uncle had one at Yentic, Connecticut, and one at Fitchville.
Yentic and Fitchville. Your cousin and your uncle. What was your uncle's name?
He's old, is he?
That was your uncle's name, or your?
And my brother's name was the same way.
Oh, okay. That's all right. That was okay. Hot? Are you a little hot?
Yeah.
So you went to work right away in Norwich, in the store the next day, and how was it a crowd? You had a lot of customers?
Well, I guess they did.
Yeah.
He had a delivery. He had
a delivery service too.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me more about how you managed to stay permanently in the United States, because when you first came, you only had a temporary visa, right?
I had a regular visa, but I didn't have no citizenship.
So how did you manage to stay? How did you extend your stay?
After 5 years, you
automatically.
Yeah.
So I guess
after 5 years, my sister and I went for the citizenships.
But
you have to learn the language and the history of America.
I see. You have to learn language and history, and
you see, when I visited my sister Frida in 1929, we went to go to citizenship. I was in New York, and they sent for me to come to Norwich. So my sister Frida and I went to do citizenship. So we went into the office for the citizenship. So they called up Frida first. And Frida was like going to school. She went to American school, and I didn't go to school. I went to work instead. So Frida was called there first. And they asked her the first question she didn't write. She didn't remember right. So they repeated the whole history for her, and she had to do it. She did it. So and I stood next door, the next room, listening to him. I said, my goodness, I don't know any. I wouldn't pass it.
Mm-hmm.
If they asked Frida, she went to school and she knew them, and she skipped. She skipped on one. He asked her the whole thing.
Yeah.
I said to myself, I wouldn't pass it. I wouldn't pass it. I don't know what is the answer. So finally she passed it, and he got the okay. And they called me in. So I was worried to death. I said I wouldn't pass it. I wouldn't pass it. I wouldn't. They wouldn't call me.
It was the first test you ever took, probably.
So, but they called me in. They says to me, Etta Polishuk, why do you say from Polishuk to Fishburne? I said because the other fellas, the whole family got about that name.
Mm-hmm.
So they called. We got that name too. So he says to me, who was the first president of America? I said, George Washington. He says, okay, that's all.
All right. He liked you. But Frida, she choked.
She stopped at the
she
first
choked.
one. He went through the whole thing, the whole history. If it me,
I thought this was fair
if it me,
country.
he says, okay, good. And I became a citizenship,
Oh, great.
1929.
It's 1929.
Yeah.
That's where I came over with.
And my brother Asia, he became a citizen in 1928 because he claimed he wouldn't go to work. He
Right.
claimed he's not a citizen. So they punished him. He had to wait 10 years for it.
Now, so I'm trying to find out about the. See, nowadays you can't stay. People get these temporary visas, and eventually they have to go back to their native country.
We
didn't worry about that.
No.
So, okay, that's.
We were accepted because we got the first citizenship in Warsaw yet from the American country. But we were not citizens. We had to wait 5 years to
You had to wait
become
5
a
years.
citizen.
Okay. All right. Is there anything you want to ask? Okay.
I'm afraid of the only ones that we first from citizenships.
Now I want to know now, as much as you know about Louis. I want to know how much do you know about Louis and where he came from in Europe? Can you tell me? Yeah. Where did Louis come from in Europe? Louis, your husband. Where did he come from?
Well, I could tell you very much. He comes near Vilna.
Vilna.
He was in the White Russia.
What was
White
the name
Russia.
Of the city?
White Russia.
Vilna.
No, that was not the city.
White Russia,
Near
yeah.
Near Vilna.
Yeah,
was the
near
name of
Vilna,
the
yeah.
What was the name of the city?
I knew it, but I forgot it.
Whoops.
Lutz?
Whoops.
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 No.
Whoops.
Loops.
Loops, okay.
Yeah. Near Vilna.
Near Vilna.
Yeah, because he used to go to Vilna, the yeshiva.
What? The
yeshiva.
okay.
Yeah.
You mean as a student?
Yeah.
Okay. So he lived in White Russia.
Yeah, he lived in
Oh.
White Russia. I lived in real Russia, but he lived in White Russia.
And so what was his native language besides Yiddish? What else? He spoke Russian?
Yes, some, yeah.
And what do you know? What did he do besides go to school?
When he came to America, he wasn't in a store. He used to work. He came to America. He had cousins, rich cousins in Norwich, the Beat Brothers. They had markets.
The Beat Brothers.
Yeah. He worked for the Beat Brothers, and that's how he learned to be a grocer and a butcher from them.
I see.
Then we bought it for the business.
what did he do in Europe? What was he?
He's a student.
He was. Did he travel in Europe at all? I seem to remember him saying that.
I don't remember very much. He was really in Lutz, that's all.
Okay, and do you know anything about his family?
I know a little from that already. He had one brother.
He had one brother.
And two sisters. They both dead.
What were their names?
One was
Jenny.
one was Jenny and
What was Fanny?
Fanny and Jenny.
And one brother.
One brother, David.
David.
No, what is his name now? Boer.
Laura.
Yeah,
Boer.
Boer. Yeah, one brother.
Bernard, like
Bernard. And did they all come to America?
Yes.
They all got here.
Yeah, they were all American. They come before my husband came.
Oh, they were here for a long time.
Yeah,
And do you know what year Louis came?
he came in the 1927.
He came. Oh, he came a lot later than you.
Yeah.
1927 he came. And
That's not how we got here.
do you know anything about how he got here? He didn't.
He didn't come really.
He didn't come.
He came without a passport and all.
Right. He came illegally.
Illegally, yeah.
Right. He didn't have a passport, so.
He had to marry me because I was a citizen.
Okay.
And we got married, and he was sent to Canada. He stayed for 10 days or 16 days in Canada, and I sent for him to me. And I made him a citizen. I made him a citizen.
Yeah.
We go all legally. He came all legally.
What about Louis in Cuba? Louis was in Cuba, right?
He was a Cuba, yeah.
Why did he have to go to Cuba?
Because he couldn't come to America. He wasn't a citizen.
So how long was he in Cuba for?
2 years.
2 years. And what did he do?
A peddler.
He was a peddler. In Havana? Where was he in Cuba? Do you know?
I don't know. I knew it all.
So then how did he make the trip from Cuba to America? How did he do that?
He paid for a man. And they used to take people bringing them in illegally.
So they smuggled him basically
Yeah.
on a boat.
You smuggled him.
And where did he arrive? He arrived in Florida?
No. He came to America.
But so
Right to
from
the-
Cuba
right-
to New York. The boat for the first stop was in New York.
As far as I know, he was in New York right away.
I see. And we already know that he went to Norwich.
Ask her how she met him.
He went to Norwich because his mother's sister was in Norwich. And all the children were on business. They were at market. And that's how you do their business.
His mother's sister. What their name was
Beats, yeah.
Beats.
Beat brothers.
And when did they come?
I don't know when they.
But they came a lot sooner though.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
came in the 1800s, didn't they?
I don't know when they come. But I never knew him until I met my husband.
But he didn't say. They seem to be more established than your family.
They were all established.
So do you think they came in like the 1800s?
Maybe. They had two stores in Norwich and they had a store in London. I don't know. I don't know. What.
So,
See, that's the things I don't, I can't remember now.
Yeah.
So it's 72 years, 71 years.
71 years, yeah. Now I want to know, your father, after you came, what happened to your father?
After we came,
Yeah.
when we came, we found my father sick.
What did he have? What was wrong with him?
Yeah. I don't know if it was it this stomach trouble or sugar trouble, something. He came like an hour,
Diabetes, do you think?
yeah. On a Friday, we took him into the hospital, and he died on the Monday. We took him on a Wednesday, and he died on a Friday.
Now, was he sick for a long time?
He must have been sick for a long time.
So, was he working when you came?
In the store, yeah.
So he was sick and he was still working,
And he was a butcher. He used to cut the meats.
What did you do after his death? How did you recover? How did the family recover after that?
Well, when we came, he was glad to see us, but he missed his one more child and a son, and one brother. My sister Rose and my brother Harry couldn't come in. When they came, he was already dead. He missed them, and they missed him. They came, my sister Rosa came in January, and my brother Harry came in late January. Because of my brother Harry, he couldn't come in. My sister didn't want to leave him alone. So she really stayed with him.
Where? Where did she stay with him? Where? Where was that? Where'd she stay?
From October till January.
Where?
In Danzig.
Ask her how she met my father.
You said Louis had to go to Canada first?
Yeah, 10 days.
Why was that?
Because he came illegally. He was a normal visitor. So he became a citizen by marrying me. And I made him a citizen. I was the justice. I could have sent him back if I wanted.
Oh, you could have sent him back. All those years you knew that, didn't you?
Yeah.
So, well, I don't understand why.
We got married by George first in Norwich. Then we went to New York and we went to a shul and we got married at a Jewish wedding. See, he came illegally.
Why was he in Canada? I don't understand why he had to go to Canada.
He could have gone to Poland back again, but if he would have gone to Poland, they would have arrested him for not being in the army. And in Canada, he was free there. He stayed there in Canada in 10 days, and he went into the American Council, and he gave him a visa to come to America.
How did he get the visa, though?
He legalized it.
See, you said
There's a lot
he
of...
left Cuba and he went to New York. But
Yeah.
then where does Canada come in? I don't understand this Canada connection.
Because they could have sent him to Poland. But if he went to Poland, they would arrest him there. They were, because
Right.
because he didn't go to the army.
Okay, so
And in
tell
Canada,
us.
he was free.
Canada was the closest one. He went to the Polish
And anyhow, he was American citizen already.
Oh, I see. Tell us how you met Louis. Tell us the story of how you met Louis.
See, if he met, he was not citizen yet, and he wasn't legally.
Right, we know that. Tell us about when did you meet Louis and how? How did you meet?
He was living in Norwich. He went to a picnic in Yentik. That was in Yentik. He met me there.
How did you meet? You were sitting down or something?
Yeah. I was by my cousin in Yentik, and he went by and he saw me. And he went by with some other people too, and they knew me and they introduced me.
You were,
I was single.
what year was that?
Huh?
What year was that? 28? What year?
We got married in 1929. I think the end of 1927 or 28.
In Yantic, Connecticut.
It's a long time ago, honey.
And did you date at all, or did he suddenly ask you to get married, or what?
He came to see me.
After the picnic, or
Yeah.
later on, sometime later?
He called me up, and we went to a movie. And I went back to New York, and he used to call me up in New York. He came several times to New York to see me.
When you were in New York?
Yeah. I worked in New York.
Tell them about your job in New York.
I worked 3 years in New York.
Doing what?
Cashier register. I never worked in a shop. My other sisters, they worked in a shop. I never did in a shop. I always worked in business.
So he came to see you, and
Yeah.
you went to see movies. What movies did you see? You remember?
See, we got married in a Jewish court in our by George in Norwich, and then we went to New York, and we got married in a shul in the Bronx.
In the Bronx.
Yeah, by a rabbi, and a regular wedding.
Was it a big wedding?
Yeah, just friends. Just friends. My brother Izzy, that's all came in, and I played the very state. Come. We celebrated the 50th anniversary. We had a big party, I think. I think your mother was there and everybody. The 50th anniversary we celebrated in Norwich, and he died in the 51st. He died in the show. We went to a meeting where we needed a new rabbi. You got to install a new rabbi. And he stood up and said something about a new rabbi, and he dropped that on the floor and he was gone.
Well, in New York, so he took you to see movies?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the names of those movies?
No, I forgot all about it. He used to go to lectures a lot. He used to like lectures as speaker. Whenever there was a lecture in Norwich, we never missed it. Different rabbis, different professors. We always went to the lectures. He never played cards. He never played cards. He even stopped if you're playing cards. But the lectures he used to love to listen to. And so every lecture, he was the only one who stand up and ask questions. Some he understood and some he didn't. We had one, I'll never forget it, we had one extra professor from, I don't know where it was, for what college. He spoke very highly. It was a little bit too much for Louis. He didn't understand it. So when he finished, he was the first one to stand up and ask questions. So he asked him something, and he said, so the professor insulted him. He said to him, "You're Gobayung."
What is that?
Gobayung.
What is that?
Another educated man. Lot of different things happened in life. Good things and bad things. Lot of them. Lot of them I can remember. A lot of them I try to forget it. My young life wasn't a very good one in Europe. If we had 1 meal a day, we were lucky. But as soon as I came to America, everything changed. We had everything I had desired. My brother Eric should rest in peace, because my father died. He took over, and he was a very good brother. He was a very good brother. He did everything for us until he got married. I worked with him all the time till I went to New York.
Why did you go to New York then?
Why did you go to New York? Why did you go to New York?
My sister Rose got married, and we gave her. She wanted a divorce. She wanted when she gets married, she She gave him money out. What's her name? Nothing. Nothing. A wedding
Wedding.
present, yeah. Well, my brother didn't have no wedding present, so he rode over the store to her. So when we rode over the store, so he bought a store in Norwich. And I went to work in New York.
Did you catch that? Can you explain that again? I'm not sure I understand that.
When my sister Rose got married,
Yeah?
she wanted
A divorce. No?
She wanted another.
Dowry.
A dowry?
A dowry, yeah. My brother couldn't afford to get a dowry in the store, and he didn't want the store. So he wanted either to sell at the store or to give it to her. He sold at the store. In order, she's got to pay us. She got to pay me and Frida and Rose. She paid me $100, and that's all she paid. And they gave up the store. He couldn't keep the store. So they closed it up. And my brother Eddie already bought a store in Norwich. And I went to New York to work.
Tell us more about Rose. What did she look like?
Oh, Frida was dark.
She was dark.
I and Rose,
Oh, Frida was dark.
my sister Rose were light.
Bertha.
Bertha was lighter. She was the lightest. I was I was very light, very blonde. I was the blondest one. My sister Frida and Rose were dark. My sister Frida was she was the youngest one from the girls, and she's the youngest one. She died quick. She died before Rose, and she died before Bertha. She had cancer.
What year was that when she died?
She's dead 7 years. Oh, but no. She's dead 9 years. My sister Rose died 7 years.
7 years ago?